One of the most difficult, but also one of the most important steps in writing a paper is to choose a topic. And a lot of times we can come up with a lot of ideas, but sometimes we're not sure if it's really going to be a good topic for this paper. So if you're writing a persuasive research essay for a class, this might be a good way to test your topic. First of all, you want to look at the scope. Is your topic just right for a 7 to 10 page persuasive research paper? Well, you can use the old Goldilocks test to help you decide. As we all know, there's Papa Bear, Mama Bear, and Baby Bear, who's just right. So let's look at Papa Bear first. Papa Bear topics are often the topics that are too broad. For instance, we need to fix American schools. That might be very well true, but that's really not specific. There are tons of different ways we could fix American schools. There's tons of different possible solutions out there, whether you're focusing on curriculum or teacher quality or so many other things. So yeah, that one is pretty much just way too broad. Second, it might just be too questionable. Like if you're writing on some sort of conspiracy theory, like aliens, government secrets, was the entire 9/11 thing an inside job? That kind of stuff is really questionable. So watch out for that. And then too hot. Some topics can be great for persuasive papers, but they're not great if they become a one-sided argument, whether it's abortion, gun control, or anything else. If you're just going to choose one side of that argument and pound it to death, you're going to lose your audience pretty quickly. Remember that your job is not to be a cheerleader and just choose one side and cheer for it. You're looking for a more balanced approach where you can bridge understanding between two sides of an argument. Even if you can't totally convince the other side, you can at least help them understand your point of view better. Now, we've talked about Papa Bear. Let's look at Mama Bear. Mama Bear kinds of essays are a little bit too informational. Remember that your purpose here is to persuade your audience, not just to inform them, not just to tell them how to do something or report on something or give them just the facts. You're going to do that, but you have to do a little bit more. Also, you don't want to be too relative. You can't just say, you know, everybody's right, or all I have is my own opinion to base this on. Obviously, you need a little bit more support than that, and you need to actually choose a side to defend. So, what's the just right bear look like? Not like that. The just right bear looks like this. It's balanced between fact and opinion. It's focused on a specific audience. It's clear. It has a specific objective. Now, of all of these, probably one that students struggle with the most is the specific audience bit. So let's talk about that. How do you choose the audience for your paper? If you look at this famous poster of Smokey the Bear, the audience is very clear. The audience is you, meaning every person who uses the forest in any way. Any person who's out there and sees the sign knows that they are the target audience. They're the ones who are responsible for making sure a forest fire doesn't happen. This poster is effective because it establishes who cares. It establishes common values. We all care about the environment. And it establishes also some cause and effect. We know what will happen if our individual choices lead to a disaster. And this is the kind of thing you need to do with your own audience. You need to consider who values this topic or this subject. Who's going to be affected by it? Who can cause something to happen? And that's really part of what the next big question you can ask yourself is. Who can or should do something about this? Who has the power, the authority, the responsibility? If you're writing a paper on video games, for instance, you might want to target parents. Children may not have the power and authority and responsibility to choose their own video games in every case, but parents usually do have some power, control, or authority on that. And that's something you want to ask yourself in every kind of situation. Who cares and who can actually do something about it? Once you've figured out your audience, the other thing you want to consider is resources. Sadly, there are many students out there who choose a paper or a topic based on what they think they can find easily. And it's true that there are tons of resources out there on the internet, but there are also many others, scholarly articles, books, interviews with professors or experts on campus, and even your personal experience. Please don't limit yourself to the first thing that pops up on Google. If you have a topic out there that you're interested in, I can almost promise you that you can find interesting and awesome research out there that will back it up and turn it into an interesting paper. Keep in mind that your teachers read literally thousands of these papers every semester. If you write something interesting and unique, you're much more likely to capture their attention than if you write something that's been talked about over and over already. So, overall, when you're trying to test your topic, remember to look at the scope, who your audience is, and what your resources are. If you test your topic this way and ask your teacher or librarians for help, you can almost be assured that your paper will turn out pretty darn well. Good luck!